Please listen carefully.
Welcome, listeners, to a new audio offering from Scarecrow Consultants. We're delighted today to welcome you to our new Scarecrow Book Club. And here with me today to explain a little bit about what we're doing with this new book club is John. Hey, John, do you want to explain a little bit about how this came about?
Yeah, of course. So as people are probably aware, we're very interested in systems engineering and we've written a number of books. People ask us about them, and of course we're biased because we wrote them. We're going to say they're great. So we've engaged the services of some of our colleagues overseas, okay, in the United States of America, as it is, and they don't work for Scarecrow, but we're going to call them Scarecrow USA for now. But basically, we've got Gail and Craig, okay. And they're going to look at some of the books and just have a bit of a casual chat about them, tell you about the books, what to expect. Some books are quite expensive. You're not going to invest your money, particularly if it's not your own, unless you know a little bit about it. So this is kind of an independent review that we haven't had a hand in, to be fair, Jess. And it's just a conversation between Gail and Craig, just to basically talk a little bit about the books, give people a little bit of an appreciation of what the whole thing is about.
Yeah, it's like a try before you buy situation.
Yeah,
fab. Well, we're very excited.
Which book should we start with, Jess?
What a good question. Well, I think we should start with the first letter of the alphabet. Why don't we start with Adventures in Systems Engineering, as written by a great author,
by
great
you,
new,
Jess.
by me, yes, by me. Well, let's see. I'm very excited to welcome Gail and Craig and see what they have to say about it.
Okay, so without further ado, let's go to our colleagues overseas.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine trying to get your head around a notoriously complex field, right? But instead of, slogging through these really dry textbooks, you find yourself embarking on an epic quest. Today, we're diving into a fascinating training manual for systems engineering, but honestly, with a twist you probably won't see coming.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Our sources reveal how this really essential field, systems engineering, which, let's face it, is often seen as kind of sprawling and, well, abstract, is now being taught through this immersive fantasy adventure. Exactly. Think mythical creatures, enchanted valleys, the works, and a very real mission to save a village. So our deep dive today is really to explore how this engaging approach actually works, and maybe more importantly, why it seems to be so effective.
Okay, that sounds a lot more compelling than my old engineering textbooks, I have to say. So a fantasy world for systems engineering. How exactly does this Adventures in Systems Engineering manual tackle a discipline that's usually described as, well, pretty theoretical?
Well, what's fascinating is how it just completely transforms that learning experience. Systems engineering, it's absolutely critical for complex projects, but the traditional resources can be, like our source puts it, vast, dry, and often abstract.
Yeah, I can see that.
So this manual, Adventures in Systems Engineering, it just flips that on its head. It's aimed mainly at early career STEM professionals, and it presents SE in a way that's accessible, memorable, and actually even fun.
Fun for SE.
Yeah. The core objective for the participants, they have to work together collaboratively to create a remotely operated rescue system. And the goal is to save these elves trapped in a cursed village. It basically simulates the entire system life cycle, right from the initial idea through to operation.
That mission alone sounds way more engaging than, like, a standard case study.
Yeah.
But how do they handle the really rigorous concepts, things like, say, context diagrams or interfaces? How do you translate that into something imaginative without losing the technical core?
That's where the real genius of it lies, I think. So you, as a participant, you join a team, right? And you journey across this enchanted valley. You're guided by a map given to you by the Good Witch of Systems Engineering. Sounds a bit cheesy, but it works.
The Good Witch of SE, okay.
Along the way, every real-world systems engineering concept,
yeah,
it's cleverly disguised as some kind of magical challenge. So, for instance, stakeholder engagement. That means you're negotiating with a very opinionated elvish mayor to figure out what they actually need. And requirements definition. You literally have to speak, need, and enter to get past this grumpy, misunderstood requirements troll.
A requirements troll. That actually sounds familiar, like some project meetings I've sat through.
Exactly. The adventure isn't just like a loose metaphor. It is the process. You're living it.
Okay, that sounds incredibly effective for getting people hands-on.
Right.
But, for a field that's built on such precise models and processes, is there any worry that this fantasy setting might make it harder to transition back, to apply it in the real, non-magical world?
That's a fair question, but actually, no. And this kind of gets to why it works so well. The whole adventure is structured very deliberately into 3 parts: definition, design, and testing and beyond. Each chapter, whether it's about context diagrams, maybe you're charting magical energy flow in the valley, or interfaces, figuring out how your rescue gadget connects to ancient elvish tech,
Right.
it corresponds directly to a key systems engineering concept. And what's really profound, what the manual kind of gradually reveals to you, is that the map, the very map you've been following the whole time, it turns out to be the V model, the fundamental representation of the systems engineering lifecycle.
Whoa, okay. So it's not just a gimmick then, it's baked right in.
Exactly. It's built into the structure of the quest itself.
So there's a fundamental shift in how we approach learning these complex processes. What's the biggest takeaway for someone going through this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that this unique framework powerfully shows that systems engineering doesn't have to restrict creativity. It actually provides a structure for it to flourish. Participants aren't just, memorizing definitions from a book. They're experiencing the whole iterative nature of design, the absolute importance of clear requirements, why testing matters.
Through action.
Through action, exactly. It allows them to develop these wild, wondrous creations, as the source calls them, while still sticking to proper engineering processes, because they've learned those processes almost instinctively. It turns a potentially overwhelming subject into something engaging, useful, and really, really memorable. It fosters that crucial big picture view, and it empowers you to apply these principles pretty much immediately and intuitively.
That's a really powerful lesson there, isn't it? How constraints can actually drive innovation, not stifle it. It really makes you wonder, if complex, crucial fields like systems engineering can be taught so effectively through, imaginative ventures, what other dry topics out there might benefit from, a sprinkle of magic in a properly structured quest?
Yeah, it definitely opens up possibilities. It makes you think about what truly effective, truly memorable learning experiences could look like if we just let our imaginations run a little wild sometimes.
Goodbye.